My squad, we've been down there, down in the gloom, inside the hives. I managed to make it back, but J2 and N3, they weren't so lucky. Just stick with your squad and keep looking over your shoulder. Let's not have you end up like him. We need you back to your ship in one piece. On record though, I hate Stalkers. Private Sprockers here once again, with some insights to help you survive and conquer the vile Terminids on their terms. We're bringing a fight to the infested homeworlds, so don't expect this to be a walking tyranny park. They will throw whatever they can at us to stop us, but it won't matter, will it? After all, we're Helldivers. Why now, you might ask? Well, our maximum security cities have very recently come under cowardly, unprovoked attack by the Terminid Scourge. In retaliation for their spineless invasions, we had to go deep into the gloom to take all that those mindless bugs hold dear in their homes, their hive worlds, especially their E710 and now E711. Our Helldivers recently undertook a great effort to acquire samples and spores from planets on the edge of the gloom. With their success, the Ministry of Science was able to synthesize and develop a gloom-resistant polymer coating to coat our Super Destroyer's engines. Before this monumental discovery, our engines would get clogged with gloom spores, and our ships were unable to safely travel through the gloom. With those things in mind, our technology to weather the gloom couldn't have been developed at a better time. With the current threat that the Terminids have proven themselves to be, now is the time to deliver freedom and subjugate those bugs once and for all. Now, Diver, you'll be one of the first to set foot on their hive worlds. Know that information is sparse, but the threat is very real. Keep an eye on your squad mates and always expect the unexpected. Be ever vigilant, as these bugs will take advantage of every opportunity to destroy our managed democracy. As I've mentioned, I've had the displeasure of spending some time down planetside in the gloom. But I hope with that time, I can share knowledge with you that'll help you to not end up like the rest of my squad on their last mission. I'll be discussing new threats, weapon and stratagem choice, in addition to general strategies against Terminids, including strategies to use both above ground and deep underground within the bugs' hives. Now, let's discuss some of the new threats that you'll be facing down in the gloom. The Dragon Roach is a predator that I'm assuming is a bile type, mutated by the gloom. This monstrosity no longer breathes explosive, acidic bile, but now rains fire down from the sky. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, it has wings now. We are indeed speaking of a flying, fire-breathing monster, hence it being called a dragon. The roach part assumingly because it's still a disgusting bug. While you can still kill it traditionally with anti-tank weapon, a spear works great for this, having a lock on. The dragon roach can also be taken down with light pin weapons, such as the stalwart. Using any weapon that's not anti-tank, so make sure you aim for the wings. The dragon roach has one attack pattern with two attacks, a dive bomb which transitions into a hover. When it dives, be ready to dive to the side yourself, and when you see it flying in place, run directly away to dodge it. Last, since it breathes fire instead of bile, and flammable armors can be of great help to increase your chances of survival. Dubbed the Rupture Strange by Super Earth High Command, these mutated bugs all have one thing in common. They burrow underground and emerge at a time that is most inconvenient for you. You can tell where they are, as you'll see rocks and debris getting kicked up from the ground. If hit with explosives while burrowing, they will both take damage and be forced to emerge. Rupture warriors typically come in groups, and when engaging will immediately burrow into the ground. Flush them out with explosives. They'll still get injured even if underground, in addition to unburrowing early. They have medium armor plates covering their fronts, but their tails appear to be unarmored. Aim between their armor or for their tail if possible. Rupture Spewer's acid demands that you stay mobile. Unlike regular spewers, these bugs shoot globs of acid in an arc, as well as the regular spew, allowing them to fire over their allies. If I didn't know better, I'd say the Gloom might be making him smarter. Wait, no, I'd never think such an undemocratic thought as that. It's just a lucky mutation. The big guy is known as the Rupture Charger. Same idea as the others. They'll burrow underground. But this one, it can burst out in a full charge. Take great care to be ready to dive out the way at a moment's notice. It may just be me, but it seems like the trade-off for their mobility is that they have less health overall. That's my own anecdote though, so take that with a grain of salt. If you look back in Super Earth's history to the first galactic war, you might see old records about a giant worm-like Terminid called the Hive Lord. Well, whatever this thing is, it isn't that. Must have been mutated by the Gloom, like everything else out here. This creature is massive, maybe even the size of your Super Destroyer, but I can't tell for sure, considering how much of it is still underground. It'll try to kill you either using its acid or simply by slamming you with its body. If I'm unable to take cover, I've had luck surviving the acid by making sure that I'm prone. My best advice though, is to simply tactically disengage, unless you came prepared to fight it from the drop. Good news is that these things, they can't follow you into the tunnels. Also, they do bleed. We can agree that if it bleeds, we can kill it. I've only taken one out so far myself, but the satisfaction of doing so, to take out such a threat to managed democracy, was certainly worth it. Be sure that at least one member of your squad has some sort of regular use explosive weaponry. You'll know that a weapon has the explosive property when viewing it in the armory or loadout screen. For stratagems, you'll have to check your ship computer. This will help your squad keep the Rupture straight above ground, as well as thinning the overwhelming tide of Terminids. Here's some specific equipment, stratagems, and boosters that I've noticed fill a niche, but when diving down into the Gloom. The Punisher and Cookout shotguns may save your life down there for one specific reason: a stagger force. Light pin so you'll have to aim for the tails of Rupture warriors, but it'll keep the Stalkers off you. Try to reload a shell after every shot to keep your chamber topped off. You're looking for fire, look no further than the Torture. The Torture is a primary weapon flamethrower, boasts an ammo efficiency and zone control. Of course, this does mean you'll have to get closer than you might prefer, but you can hit multiple bugs at the same time, and in these thin tunnels, it does a very good job of both clearing the way and holding back Terminids. The Punisher Plasma isn't a weapon that I normally use, simply out of preference. However, I have had some luck with it against the Rupture strain. It has an incredible amount of stagger and explodes on contact, unearthing any pesky burrowers nearby. With its medium penetration, the Warrant can act as an okay general use backup weapon. It truly shines against Shriekers, which you will encounter plenty of in the Gloom. With its guided projectiles, it'll make short work of any Shriekers caught within its sight. The Urchin grenade will stick to a target, much like a thermite, but unlike a thermite, the Urchin does no damage. I've been able to save myself and allies many times from the likes of a Bile Titan that's about to spew acid down one of the cave tunnels. At least, long enough to create some distance and take the thing down. Arc grenades can be very dangerous for anything within proximity, including fellow Helldivers. It will bounce several times over its duration, and in relation to the Rupture strain, each bounce will force any burrowed bugs to unearth. Placed carefully, it can make holding a tunnel much easier. A spear certainly has its place in any diver's arsenal, but I'm mentioning it here for one reason: taking out the Dragon Roach. Able to lock on at least 200 meters away, you can fire, reload, and fire again if the first shot doesn't take it out of the sky. I'd say it's thin for a spear to fell a dragon. 110mm rocket pods have had their fair share of criticism regarding efficacy, but if you keep track of the Dragon Roach and throw the stratagem beacon where the Roach will stop when it finishes its dive bomb, you can pretty much guarantee a hit. Do that twice, you'll take out the beast. There may be better options, but it's a reliable use of a stratagem slot. The localization confusion booster gives you 15% more time before another bug breach, or any reinforcements for that matter, can be called in. It scales with the difficulty of your mission, as, depending on intensity, our enemies can only call in reinforcements every 2 to 5 minutes. Situational, of course, but an extra 18 to 45 seconds between reinforcement call-ins can give you some much-needed breathing room. I'd argue even more situational, but tremendously useful in some of these Gloom locales, is muscle enhancement. I'm sure you've had your fair share of wading through deep water or being chased by bugs, all while trying to create distance between yourself and a Hive Lord. Well, the muscle enhancement booster will help with that, making you significantly faster in various forms of difficult terrain. Depending on just how much water there is, and if you're going to be spending a lot of time traveling through it, take this into consideration. As soon as you drop into the field, call in any turrets that you have. This will give you some breathing room in case you're immediately set on by a horde. If you're not, then you'll still have a fallback point. Normally when fighting Terminids, you might hold a position until a tide of bugs runs out, but our current situation doesn't often permit that. Given that these bugs can now attack from above and below, it's typically not worth the resources to stand and fight for a prolonged period. Keep moving as a squad, and don't let yourselves get surrounded. I'm sure that soon enough, Super Earth will give us both the orders and the tools to truly defeat the Terminid menace. For now, do your best to avoid patrols, and if reinforcements do get called in, continue to stay mobile unless an objective requires you to stay put. Remember, keep together with your squad. These bugs want us split up and isolated, and let's not give them what they want. After all, we're all in this together, Helldivers. When above ground, use your usual tactics, but again, continue to stay mobile. You will typically find one or more shrieking nests on the surface, so get them taken out quickly. The Dragon Roach will absolutely take advantage of the fact that you're not moving, doing so by bombarding your squad with fire. If the Hard Lord shows its ugly carapace, and you didn't prepare your loadout to take it down, do yourself a favor. Get out of there. Always take cover against both the Dragon Roach and Hive Lord's ranged attacks if you can. It could very well make the difference between life and death. Heading into the bug's underground labyrinth of tunnels does spread you the solace of not having to immediately worry about Dragon Roaches and Hive Lords, but that's about it. Unable to call in supplies, stratagems, and reinforcements throughout most of the tunnels turns a show of force into a battle of attrition. On the surface, you can call in orbital strikes, Eagle 1, or turrets to thin their numbers. Down there, your squad is the heavy firepower. You'll most likely find occasional openings in the ceiling to let you drop a stratagem down, but those are too far and few between to be dependable. Don't expect the luxury of being able to call anything down once you're in the tunnels. Be ready beforehand. Using your map, you can get a lay of the tunnels to at least have some idea how to navigate. Keep an eye out for mobile radars, as well as stalker nests down there. Believe me, there are plenty of stalker nests. Obviously stated, but being constrained to tunnels means that you can't always go around or choose a different path. Sometimes, forward is the only way when you have a swarm on your six. Learning to push through a horde with focused firepower is paramount to your survival, as well as having at least one squad member keep an eye on your backs. As briefly mentioned before, fire is a great tool for area control, and to make sure that the bugs can only come from the direction that you want them to. Good luck down there, divers. We're all gonna need it. I don't know what else lies deeper within the gloom, but I know that we must stand strong together. The Super Earth. Remember, you are not alone. You have the full strength of Super Earth's finest at your side, as we dispense justice and freedom into the unjust. As always, thank you all so much for sticking around and watching. If you have any thoughts, questions, or tips of your own, leave a comment and I'll pick a few to mention in the next video. If you did enjoy this content, please like and subscribe so we can get this out there to more divers. Private Spruckus out.